Now, this morning, Dom's been looking at the state of the housing market and how difficult it is to sell your home in some parts of the country.
Big response on this from viewers. Dom's got the details. Also, Martin Roberts is here, who's an expert in all things buying and selling houses. We'll get some details from Dom first. What's coming out of these surveys?
I think these are the questions I think that Martin would be interested to answer.
Should you pick up those, Martin? So, what was it? It was South Wales and
Dumfries and Galloway.
Dumfries and Galloway.
I think wherever you are in the country, there are the same kind of rules and things you can apply. The first thing is you've got to be proactive. You can't assume an estate agent or somebody you've employed to do it for you is going to do it unless you help them by basic things like making your house look as attractive as possible. Yeah. Little things which, like, think what it was about that house in the first place that attracted you to it and extol those virtues. I mean, when I sold one of my first houses, I created a little pack of information about local amenities and things, how good the local schools are, put an Ofsted report in. I mean, just be very proactive. And people probably say, well, I've tried that, it hasn't worked. You have to be realistic about the price. You have to get rid of clutter in the house. You have to make it appealing when people walk up. I mean, the figures in terms of how long people give, 30 seconds, I think, they'll decide whether or not they're going to buy your house. So imagine I've got 30 seconds to impress somebody, and then go about it.
One of the really wearying things, people, is when you don't get people even coming to look. I mean, you're right about all those things you can do, but if you've got that flat market, you put the property on the market, and no one's coming around.
No, but you're going to be checking you've got good photographs. You've got to make sure that you've extolled the virtues in the description, and really just grab it by the horns and do what you can.
You talk about the 30 seconds just quickly. So that's the front and it's the entrance hall.
Yeah, the smell, the ambience, the stuff that it's really hard to just put a finger on. The state of the garden when you're walking up. Is it clean paint? Were there lots of socks and things lying around in the entrance hall? Is this the sort of place that I can imagine living in? And when I saw my first house, I didn't actually get somebody into the house first of all. I walked them down the road and I showed them the park at the end of the street. And I said, look at that. That is why I bought this house. Don't let me take you into the house, but already in their mind, it's, this is quite nice. There's a park down the end of the street. And you've got somebody in a positive frame of mind, which can only then be built on.
Yeah, I mean, Selina, who lives in Bracknell in Berkshire, I mean, that's pretty close to London. That's in the southeast. I think that might be interesting advice for her. Her flat's been on the market for 3 months. She's had at least 1 viewing a week, so that's 12 viewings, and not even a single offer, not even a speculative offer. What do you think she might be doing wrong? Exactly what you're saying, not having enough information when buyers are walking in.
Yeah, and it's odd, people desperate to sell, they don't seem desperate, but also don't seem like you don't want to sell, because some people are like, I don't really want to sell, especially for that price, but I suppose I have to. Yeah. You act like a salesperson, and as I just extol the virtues, people, it's an old adage, but people do also buy from people. And if you say, this has been a happy home, if it has been a happy home, and I hope it has been, then it's all that silly stuff that makes us make those snap decisions in 30 seconds.
And presumably that crucial price issue, which is that if you're having to bite the bullet and say, I will make a significant drop if that's going to get a sale, hopefully the place you're going to buy, someone else will be in, unless you're going to somewhere it's the real hotspots.
Yeah.
Hopefully, that one at the time will feel like an awful leap. We'll even up.
Yeah, and it's a really hard one, because if you've got it in your head that your house is worth £200,000, because that's what it was 5 years ago, taking your drop to 180 or 170 or whatever is going to be a psychological battle. But you just have to say, well, we are where now, what can I do if I really need to move to make this happen? And yet, take your point of, I probably will be able to negotiate a better deal on the house I'm moving to.
Good advice. Martin, thank you very much. Dom, thanks very much. Thank you.